The big room was full of noise. Aliens from all over the galaxy sat in their seats, talking loudly. Some looked scared, others angry. This was the Galactic Council, and today was not a normal day. In the middle of the room, a tall, blue-skinned alien named Jaehwan stood up. He raised his 4 arms, asking for quiet. Slowly, the noise died down. "Friends," Jaehwan said, his voice shaking a little. "We are here because of something very important. Yesterday we met a new species. They call themselves humans." A low murmur spread through the room. Jaehwan waited for it to stop before he continued. "These humans are not like any species we have met before. They have a ship, a battleship, that is very powerful." Jaehwan touched a button on his wrist. A big screen lit up behind him. It showed a video of a huge, dark ship. It was shaped like an arrow and covered in strange markings. "This is the human ship," Jaehwan said. "We call it the Thundermaker." The video changed. Now it showed the human ship next to some Galactic Council ships. The Council ships looked small and weak next to the Thundermaker. "As you can see," Jaehwan went on, "their ship is much bigger than ours, but size is not the problem." He pressed another button. The video showed the Thundermaker again. Suddenly, bright lights came from all over the ship. The Council ships in the video started to shake. Then, one by one, they went dark. Gasps filled the room. Some aliens stood up, shouting in fear or anger. Jaehwan raised his arms again. "Please, stay calm. No one was hurt. The human weapon only stopped our ships. It did not destroy them." A small green alien with big eyes stood up. This was Su-min, one of the oldest and wisest members of the council. "Ambassador Jaehwan," Su-min said in a soft voice, "thank you for this information. It is worrying. But I must ask, did the humans attack first, or did we?" Jaehwan looked down at his feet. We sent ships to stop them. We thought they were breaking our laws. We did not know they were a new species." Angry shouts filled the room again. A tall, red alien with sharp teeth jumped to his feet. "So we attacked them," he yelled. "And now they might want to fight us." No, Jaehwan said quickly. "The humans did not fight back. They only stopped our ships. Then they sent us a message. They want to talk." This made everyone quiet. They all looked at each other, confused. Su-min spoke again. "If they want to talk, then we should talk. We should not fight if we don't have to." But the red alien shook his head. "No, they are too strong. We should attack now, before they attack us." The room exploded with noise again. Everyone was shouting, arguing about what to do. In all the noise, no one noticed a small screen in the corner of the room. It showed a message from far away. It said, "Human ship Thundermaker requesting permission to send ambassador. Awaiting your response." Jaehwan saw the message. His heart beat faster. He knew that whatever the council decided, things in the galaxy would never be the same again. As the arguments got louder, Jaehwan thought about the human ship. He remembered how it looked in the darkness of space, big and powerful. He wondered what the humans were like. Were they friendly? Were they dangerous? He looked around the room at all the angry, scared faces. Then he looked back at the message from the humans. Jaehwan took a deep breath. He knew what he had to do. It was time to be brave. It was time to meet the humans. Captain Yuni stood on the bridge of the HSS Thunderbolt. She looked out at the stars, thinking about what had just happened. Her ship, the pride of the human fleet, had just met aliens for the first time. Yuni was tall for a human, with short black hair and dark eyes. She wore a blue uniform with gold stripes on the shoulders. Right now, her face was serious as she remembered the events of the past day. "Captain," a voice called. Yuni turned to see her first officer, Jaeho, walking towards her. "The alien ships are still out there. They're just waiting." Yuni nodded. "They're probably scared of us, Jaeho. I would be too, if I were them." She thought back to the moment when it all started. The Thunderbolt had been exploring this new part of space when suddenly alien ships appeared all around them. Remember how it felt? Yunji asked Jaiho. When we saw all those ships. Jaiho nodded. I was terrified, Captain. I thought we were done for. Yunji smiled a little. Me too. But then I remembered what we came here for. To make friends, not enemies. In her mind, Yunji saw it all again. The alien ships, small but many, surrounding the Thunderbolt. Their weapons were ready to fire, but Yunji had made a choice. Activate the pulse, she had ordered. And with that simple command, everything changed. The Thunderbolt lit up like a Christmas tree. Waves of energy pulsed out from the ship, washing over the alien vessels. One by one, the alien ships went dark. Their engines stopped, their weapons powerless. We could have destroyed them, Jaiho said quietly. But you chose to just stop them. Yunji nodded. That's not why we're here, Jaiho. We're explorers, not conquerors. She walked over to a big screen on the wall. It showed the alien ships, now active again, but keeping their distance. I wonder what they're thinking now, Yunji said. Do they see us as monsters, or potential friends? Jaiho shrugged. Hard to say, Captain. But I bet they're scared. We just showed them technology they've never seen before. Yunji sighed. She knew Jaiho was right. The aliens had never seen anything like the Thunderbolt before. Its size alone was impressive, nearly twice as big as the largest alien ship. And its technology was far beyond anything the aliens had. Captain, another voice called. It was Minseo, the communications officer. We're getting a lot of signals from the alien ships. I think they're arguing among themselves. Yunji wasn't surprised. They're probably trying to decide what to do about us. Some will want to fight, others to talk. She turned to her crew. They all looked nervous, excited, and a little scared. Yunji knew how they felt. This was a big moment, not just for them, but for all humans. Listen up, everyone, she said. The crew all turned to her. What we do next will affect the future of humanity. We have a choice to make. She paused, looking at each crew member in turn. We can show them more of our power, scare them into respecting us, or we can try to make peace, to join their galactic community as friends. The crew looked at each other. Some nodded, others looked unsure. What do you think we should do, Captain? Jaiho asked. Yunji took a deep breath. She knew her decision would change everything. The fate of humanity in this new, bigger universe rested on her shoulders. Minseo, she said finally, send them a message. Tell them we want to talk. Tell them we come in peace. As Minseo rushed to send the message, Yunji looked back out at the stars. She hoped she was making the right choice, but only time would tell if humans and aliens could become friends, or if this first meeting would lead to war. Taehyun paced back and forth in his small office. His blue skin shimmered under the bright lights. As the Galactic Council's top diplomat, he had a big job to do. He had to talk to the humans. This is crazy, he muttered to himself. How do we talk to a species that can turn off our ships with just a thought? A soft beep came from his desk. Taehyun touched a button, and a hologram appeared. It showed his team. 5 aliens from different worlds. Are we ready? Taehyun asked. The aliens looked at each other. None of them seemed sure. We've studied all the information we have, said Yuna, a small green alien with big eyes. But it's not much. We don't know what the humans want. Taehyun nodded. What about their language? Can we talk to them? We think so, said Jun, a tall, thin alien with 4 arms. Our computers have analyzed their messages. We should be able to understand each other. Good, said Taehyun. Now how do we approach them? They're powerful. We don't want to make them angry. The team was quiet for a moment. Then Daesung, a round furry alien, spoke up. What if we invite them to a neutral place? He suggested. somewhere not in our space or theirs. It might make them feel safer. Tai-hyun thought about this. It was a good idea. If the humans felt safe, they might be more friendly. Okay, he said. Let's do that. We'll invite them to Space Station 7. It's far from here, but not too close to their ship. The team nodded. They all looked nervous, but a little excited too. Suddenly, a loud alarm sounded. Red lights flashed in Ta-hyun's office. What's happening? He asked, his voice shaking. A new image appeared in the hologram. It showed a message. Ta-hyun read it out loud. Attention, Galactic Council. This is Captain Yunji of the HSS Thunderbolt. We come in peace and request a meeting. The room was silent. Everyone stared at the message. They want to meet us, Yoon has said in a small voice. Tai-hyun couldn't believe it. The humans, with all their power, wanted to talk. They weren't attacking. They wanted peace. This changes everything, he said. Quick, we need to respond. The team burst into action. Joon started typing a reply. Dae-sung checked the rules for first contact. Yoon-ha looked for information about human customs. Tai-hyun watched them work. His mind was racing. This was his chance to make history. If he could make friends with the humans, the galaxy would change forever. But it was also dangerous. One wrong word, one mistake, and it could all go wrong. The humans might get angry. They might use their powerful weapons. The message is ready, Jun said. Should I send it? Tai-hyun took a deep breath. This was it, the moment that would change everything. Send it, he said. Jun pressed a button. The message went out into space, towards the huge human ship. Now all they could do was wait. Would the humans accept their invitation? Would they come in peace? Or was this all a trick? Tai-hyun looked out his window at the stars. Somewhere out there was the HSS Thunderbolt. On that ship were the humans, a species no one had ever seen before. I hope we're doing the right thing, he said quietly. As the minutes ticked by, Tai-hyun and his team waited. They hoped for a reply from the humans. They hoped for peace, but most of all, they hoped they were ready for whatever came next. The future of the galaxy was about to change, and it all started with a simple message. We come in peace. The space station hung in the darkness like a shining star. It was round and flat, with many lights blinking on its surface. This was Space Station 7, the place where humans and aliens would meet for the first time. Inside the station, Captain Yunji of the HSS Thunderbolt walked down a long hallway. She wore her best uniform, blue with gold stripes. Her face was calm, but inside, her heart was beating fast. At the end of the hallway, a door opened. Yunji took a deep breath and stepped inside. The room was big and round. In the center was a large table. On one side stood Unji and two of her crew. On the other side were the aliens. Yunji looked at them with wonder. There was a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms. Next to him was a small green creature with huge eyes. Behind them stood 3 more aliens, each different from the others. The blue alien stepped forward. I am Ambassador Jae-won, he said in a deep voice. Welcome to Space Station 7. Yunji nodded. Thank you, she said. I'm Captain Yunji of the HSS Thunderbolt. We come in peace. Jae-won's eyes widened. You speak our language. Yunji smiled. Our computers helped us learn it quickly. We're good at understanding new things. The aliens looked at each other. They seemed surprised and a little worried. Please, sit down, Jae-won said, pointing to the table. Everyone sat. For a moment, there was silence. Humans and aliens looked at each other, not sure what to say. Finally, Jae-won spoke. Your ship, he said. It's very powerful. We've never seen anything like it. Yunji nodded. The Thunderbolt is one of our best ships, but we have many others. The small green alien gasped. Many? How many? Hundreds, Yunji said. Maybe thousands. We've been exploring space for a long time." The aliens all started talking at once. They sounded scared and excited. Jae-won held up his hands for quiet. "But we've never seen you before," he said. "How is this possible?" Eun-jae leaned forward. "We come from far away," she said. "We've been traveling for many years, looking for new life. You're the first aliens we've met." The room was quiet again. The aliens looked at each other, then back at Eun-jae. "What do you want?" Jae-won asked. His voice was shaky. Eun-jae smiled. "We want to be friends," she said. "We want to learn from you and share what we know." The green alien spoke up. "But you're so powerful. Why don't you just take what you want?" Eun-jae shook her head. "That's not our way," she said. "We believe in peace and working together. We don't want to fight." Jae-won leaned back in his chair. He looked relieved. "That's good to hear," he said. "We were worried you might be dangerous." "We can be dangerous," Eun-jae said, "but only if we have to be. We'd rather be friends." The aliens started to relax. Some of them even smiled. "Tell us about your people," Jae-won said. "We want to know everything." So Eun-jae began to talk. She told them about Earth, about human history, about their dreams of exploring the stars. The aliens listened, asking questions and sharing their own stories. As they talked, the fear in the room began to fade. Humans and aliens found they had much in common. They laughed at jokes, shared worries about the future, and began to see each other as people, not just strange creatures from space. Hours passed, but no one wanted to leave. This was the start of something big, something that would change the galaxy forever. As the meeting went on, Eun-jae thought to herself, "This is why we came out here. Not to conquer, but to connect. To make the universe a little less lonely." And looking at the smiling faces around her, both human and alien, she knew they had taken the first step towards a new future for everyone. News of the human-alien meeting spread fast across the galaxy. On every planet, in every space station, people talked about the humans and their powerful ships. In the Great Hall of the Galactic Council, voices rose in heated debate. Some were excited, others scared. Everyone had an opinion about the humans. Counselor Su-min stood up to speak. She was small and green, with big wise eyes. "Friends," she said, "this is a great day for our galaxy. The humans want peace. We should welcome them." Many council members nodded. They liked what Su-min said, but not everyone agreed. Counselor Dae-sung jumped to his feet. He was tall and red, with sharp teeth. "No," he shouted. "The humans are too powerful. They're dangerous. We should stay away from them." The room erupted in shouts. Some agreed with Su-min, others with Dae-sung. It was chaos. High above the council chamber, in a quiet room, Ambassador Jae-won watched the debate. He sighed. "This isn't going well," he said to himself. Suddenly, his communication device beeped. A message appeared. "Ambassador, the humans want to talk again. They have a proposal." Jae-won's hearts beat faster. What did the humans want now? Back in the council chamber, the debate raged on. Su-min was speaking again. "Think of what we can learn from the humans," she said. "Their technology, their knowledge. We could solve so many problems." But Dae-sung wasn't convinced. "And what if they decide to conquer us?" he asked. "We'd be helpless against their weapons." As they argued, something strange began to happen. The smaller, weaker species in the council started to speak up. A tiny blue alien named Yunho raised his hand. "Maybe," he said in a small voice, "the humans could protect us from the bigger species that bully us." This made everyone stop and think. Many of the smaller species had suffered for years under the power of larger, stronger aliens. Could the humans change that? More and more of the smaller species began to agree with Yunho. They saw the humans as possible protectors, not as a threat. This made Dae-sung angry. His species had always been one of the strongest. "You can't trust the humans," he roared. They'll betray us all. But fewer people were listening to him now. The idea of having a powerful friend was too exciting for the smaller species. As the debate went on, news came from all over the galaxy. On many planets, people were celebrating the arrival of the humans. They saw it as the start of a new age. But on other worlds, there was fear. Some began to build more weapons. Others talked about hiding from the humans. The galaxy was changing, all because of one human ship. In his quiet room, Jae-hwan made a decision. He sent a message to Captain Yunji of the Thunderbolt. "We need to talk," he wrote. "The future of the galaxy depends on it." Minutes later, Yunji's reply came. "We're ready when you are. Let's shape this future together." Jae-hwan looked out at the stars. He knew that whatever happened next would change everything. The old ways of the galaxy were ending. A new era was beginning. As he prepared to meet with the humans again, Jae-hwan thought about all the possibilities. Peace or war, friendship or fear. It all depended on what happened next. With a deep breath, he stepped out of his room. It was time to face the future, whatever it might bring. Down in the council chamber, the debate went on. But soon, very soon, everything would change. The humans were here, and nothing would ever be the same again. Captain Yunji sat in her private room on the HS Thunderbolt. She stared at the message on her screen. It was from Earth Command, and it made her feel uneasy. The message read, "Captain, do not reveal full extent of our capabilities. Maintain advantage. Proceed with caution." Yunji sighed. She understood why Earth Command wanted to be careful. But it didn't feel right to her. There was a knock at the door. "Come in," Yunji called. Jae-ho, her first officer, entered the room. He looked worried. "Captain, we've received another message from the aliens. Ambassador Jae-hwan wants to meet again." Yunji nodded. "I know. I'm trying to decide what to do." Jae-ho sat down across from her. "What's troubling you, Captain?" Yunji showed him the message from Earth Command. Jae-ho read it and frowned. "They want us to hide things from the aliens," he said. "But isn't that like lying?" "Exactly," Yunji said. "And I don't think lying is a good way to start a relationship with a new species." They sat in silence for a moment, both deep in thought. "What if we tell them everything?" Jae-ho suggested. "Show them all our technology, explain our history, be completely honest." Yunji smiled. "That's what I want to do. But Earth Command might not like it." "It's a big decision," Jae-ho said. "What we do now could change the future of humanity." Yunji stood up and walked to the window. She looked out at the stars and the alien ships in the distance. "We came here to explore," she said, "to meet new life and make friends, not to play games or trick people." Jae-ho nodded. "So what are you going to do?" Yunji turned back to him, her mind made up. "Call the crew together. We need to talk." An hour later, Yunji stood before her crew in the ship's main hall. She told them about the message from Earth Command and her doubts. "We have a choice to make," she said. "We can follow orders and keep secrets, or we can be honest and open, even if it means we might lose some advantage." The crew looked at each other. Some nodded. Others looked unsure. "What do you think?" Yunji asked. "This decision affects all of us. I want to hear your opinions." At first, no one spoke. Then a young officer named Min Seo stood up. "Captain," she said, "I think we should be honest. My grandmother used to say that a house built on lies will always fall down." Others began to speak up. Most agreed with Min Seo. They wanted to be open with the aliens. But not everyone felt the same. An older officer named Taiwan disagreed. "We don't know if we can trust them," he said. "What if they use our technology against us?" The debate went on for hours. Yunji listened to everyone, thinking hard about what to do. Finally, as the meeting was ending, Jae-ho spoke up. "Captain," he said, "whatever you decide, we're with you. We trust you to do what's right." Yunji looked at her crew. She saw determination in their eyes, and it made her proud. "Thank you," she said. "I've made my decision." She turned to her communications officer. "Send a message to Ambassador Jawan. Tell him we're ready to meet, and we have something important to share." As the crew left to prepare for the meeting, Yunji returned to her room. She sat down to write a message to Earth Command. "I hope I'm doing the right thing," she thought as she began to type. "For humanity, and for the galaxy." Outside her window, the stars shone brightly. Somewhere out there, the aliens were waiting. The future was about to change, all because of one decision. Yunji took a deep breath and pressed send. There was no turning back now. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was packed. Aliens from all over the galaxy had come to see what would happen. Today was the day they would vote on how to deal with the humans. At the front of the hall, Ambassador Jawan stood up. He looked tired but determined. "Friends," he said, "we have talked for many days. Now it's time to decide. Do we welcome the humans or turn them away?" The room buzzed with whispers. Everyone had an opinion. Counselor Sumin spoke first. "I say we welcome them," she said. "The humans have been honest with us. They've shared their knowledge freely." Many aliens nodded in agreement, but Counselor Daysun wasn't convinced. "They're too powerful," he argued. "What if they decide to take over? We should keep our distance." The debate went on for hours. Some species wanted to be friends with the humans. Others were still scared. As they argued, something unexpected happened. A group of smaller species, led by Yunho, asked to speak. "We've been pushed around for too long," Yunho said. "The humans offer us protection. We vote to welcome them." This changed everything. Suddenly, old alliances were breaking. New ones were forming. Species that had never worked together before were now on the same side. In the middle of all this, the doors opened. Captain Yunji walked in, along with her crew. The room went quiet. Jawan welcomed them. "Captain," he said, "you've come at an important time. We're deciding the future of our relationship." Yunji nodded. "We understand," she said, "and we have something to say." She stepped forward and looked around the room. Aliens of all shapes and sizes watched her closely. "We came here to explore and make friends," Yunji said. "We didn't come to rule or to fight. We want to be part of your community, not above it." She paused, then continued. "We've decided to share all our technology with you. No secrets, no holding back. We believe that together we can all become better." The room erupted in noise. Some aliens cheered, others protested. It was chaos. Jawan called for quiet. "This is a generous offer," he said, "but it changes things. We need to vote again." So they voted. It took hours. Species that had never agreed before found common ground. Old enemies put aside their differences. In the end, the result was clear. The majority voted to welcome the humans and accept their offer. As Jawan announced the result, Yunji felt a wave of relief. She looked at her crew and saw they felt the same. But the story wasn't over. Now came the hard part, working together to build a new future. Over the next weeks, humans and aliens began to learn from each other. The humans shared their advanced technology. The aliens taught the humans about the many cultures of the galaxy. It wasn't always easy. There were misunderstandings and arguments. Some species still didn't trust the humans. But slowly, things began to change. Yunji and Jawan worked closely together. They became the symbol of this new partnership between humans and aliens. One day, as they looked out at the stars together, Jawan turned to Yunji. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" he asked. Yunji smiled. "Never," she said. "But I'm glad it did." They watched as ships from different species flew by, working together on a new space station. It was a sign of the changes happening all across the galaxy. The old order was gone. A new age had begun. Humans and aliens, working side by side, were building a future that none of them could have imagined before. As Yunjai looked at the stars, she knew that their adventure was just beginning. The galaxy was vast, and there was so much more to explore. But now, they would do it together. The story of the human battleship and the Galactic Council was over, but the story of this new united galaxy, that was just getting started.